Yeah, what up, y'all? This is High School Stories Part 2, sophomore year. I could definitely say about this sophomore year, it was very uneventful. I don't know why exactly, but the way the schedule worked out, I didn't have classes with none of my friends anymore. Like all the people who we had classes with the year before that, I had classes with none of them this year. It seems like I more so had classes with like upperclassmen or just people I didn't know. I think the reason for that is because Hope High School is broken into like three different schools. You got the Leadership Academy for like all the business and like who wants to be in like law and the leadership type of careers. You know, whoever's leaning in that direction, they're in that academy. Then you have the IT Academy, which anyone who wanted to be in more so something doing it with technology, there was in that academy. Then we had the Arts Academy. Anyone who wanted to do anything artistic, dance, acting, and whatever, they was in that academy. You know, I was in leadership. So freshman year, I don't think the classes was too heavily leaning on each academy. But by sophomore year, I think that's when they started putting us up in more classes that dealt with what we had chosen. So my sophomore year, I didn't have classes with nobody. I mean, that shit was crazy. You know, maybe a couple classes, but not like freshman year. Freshman year, I was with all my friends. We was geeking all the time, having fun. I'm coming in thinking it's gonna be the same shit, and just not. I remember they put me in a Spanish class, and I'm like a sophomore. I'm in the classes with all like juniors and shit. I'm thinking like maybe everyone failed Spanish the year before, and that's why I'm in the class with a bunch of juniors and seniors and shit. So I didn't know nobody in there. And so I just was mad quiet. And honestly, I could say for this whole year, I mean, I'm a quiet person normally, but my whole sophomore year, I was just dead quiet because I didn't have classes with none of my friends anymore. So, wasn't nothing I could do about that. So I just spent the whole year. I mean, I don't know if I was going through puberty or some shit like at that time because I just completely became very silent, very to myself. Like I said, I do blame it more so on the fact that I didn't have classes with all these friends that had made the year before. I still seen them in the hallways and shit. Still seeing, and I wasn't somebody who hung out after school or with people or even before school or whatever. It was back and forth school, unless we was going to the Kennedy Rec, to play ball. And it seemed that year, I don't know what the hell happened, but they just didn't have this shit no more. They pretty much had shut it down by then. The school was still there, the gym was still open, but it was very rare that people, they allowed us to even go in there and get it. And I guess after a while, the people who was used to coming there, people eventually just stop showing up. You keep showing up and it's not open, it's not open, it's not open. Eventually, you're just gonna give up. Sophomore year was definitely one of my more boring years in high school. So I actually started going out with my boy Jeremy Hall. Shout out to Jeremy. And we would go up to St. Ray's to see my other boy Jake. He was like one of the stars on the basketball team. And he was starting as a sophomore, so they would play ball all throughout the year. Not just basketball season, from the fall, obviously in basketball season and in spring. So obviously in basketball season we couldn't play with them because they're practicing with the team, but they would allow us to go and play ball with them in the fall and the spring. So we took advantage of that and we would go up there, just have a blast. I met a lot of people up there. I enjoy going to other schools. I just hop on the bus, go over there, try to get back before my bus sticker ran out. I still wasn't playing school sports for the school this year because I was still playing like the preteen. Outside of that and like going to the court or playing ball in my backyard, that was the only ball I played. I play for like I said, preteen, not fall. Matter of fact, no, I didn't play in the fall because I was playing preteen. Winter's basketball, so obviously we couldn't play. And then so yeah, it was the spring. It was the spring of my sophomore year. So I said like spring 2004, something like that. Yeah, and we used to go up there, ball up, met some people up there. So I met Chalea. Shout out to Chalea. And from that point on, Jake's assistant coach for like the assistant coach for the varsity team. He was running that. When I would go and hang out at Jake's house for the weekend, he would go out and have like these practice sessions with his coach. Obviously the coach sees his potential and he would take him out on Saturdays. So I would go with them sometimes and work out. And I remember one day coming back from fucking one of these practice sessions, Jake's mom pulls me to the side and she goes, hold up, guy. Jake was upstairs like in the shower or some shit. And she goes, hey, where did y'all really go? And I'm just like, fuck, we went to work out. Like, we was just walking out, shooting around, running, doing all that. She's like, oh, you sure? So me, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, yeah, I'm sure. She's like, okay, cool. Because, I don't know that guy like that. And I don't want no hanky-panky going on. Man, when I got upstairs and told Jake that shit, we was dying laughing. Like, he was like, yo, that's her favorite word. But Man, that shit was fucking hilarious. These are some of the only memorable moments I had from sophomore year. That's how fucking boring it was. Oh yeah. But there was a lot of shit going on in the school that year as far as like the incoming freshmen that had came because I was a sophomore. The incoming freshmen, they was wild as fuck, man. At one point they beat up some brown students. Like they literally jumped. You niggas used to walk around like 10, 20 deep and beat the fuck out of the brown students. Like that shit was crazy. I couldn't imagine being like a fucking college student. You getting beat up by a bunch of high school students. You gotta feel crazy. And we're literally like down the street from Brown. So I know a lot of the Brown students live in the area. So they might have just been walking home. Brown is Ivy League University. So, you got to have a lot of like preppy type motherfuckers over there. So I know a lot of us is from the hood. We see some of these preppy motherfuckers like, yo, who the fuck is this? Look at the way this nigga's dressed with his fucking slacks and Cosby sweaters and all type of weird shit. We just thought these motherfuckers was weird as hell. So, I didn't take part in it, but that shit made the news. Like, the Brown students was a little worried. The shit was crazy that year, man. There was this other dude who, he had like the camera phone. And he just he had his boy record him on camera phone, and he just seen this dude standing on the corner. He just runs up to him, cuffs his hand like that, and just, bow, just whacks him. He just knocked this dude cold out. He ended up getting arrested for that shit. I was a sophomore. This dude probably like a junior, senior. He get arrested for that, and, he actually did some time for that shit. So, because that shit was crazy. So, there was all these stories in the news talking about how Hope High School was out of control. Hope High School is becoming one of the worst schools in the fucking state, maybe even the country. Damn sure the worst school in Providence. And I'm sitting there just like, hey, you know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. It was so bad at some point. I remember one day, like, the motherfuckers pulled the fire alarm like 6 times in one day. Like, we literally going, as soon as they'll pull the fire alarm, we go outside. Motherfuckers pull the shit again. They pull the shit, we go outside. Have to wait mad long, fire department come, still... they check everything. Everything's fine. Like, somebody pulled the fire alarm. All right, boom. We go back inside. Nigga, we was inside like, it had to be like 20 minutes. Shit goes off again. We're just like, yo, what the fuck? Go outside again. Fire department comes again. Goes through. Leaves again. We go back inside. Nigga, I'm trying to tell you, when I say niggas pulled the shit 3 times during one period, like, that shit was fucking crazy. And then probably like a couple more times throughout that day. Like, like, yo, dudes was wilding that year. That shit was crazy, man. Hope High School. So, man, they was talking about making all type of changes and shit, but we didn't know what that was gonna amount to. People always do all this lip service about public schools and shit, but they never do anything, so we ain't pay it no mind. And I remember the dudes at the fire department was fucking heated. It was just like, yeah, what the fuck? I don't know if they got the guy, and I don't even think it was just one guy. I think it was just once one person pulled it, another motherfucker was like, fuck that shit, we gonna pull it again. The other motherfucker was like, hell no, boom, and that shit was crazy. That's what more so I remember that year for. Motherfuckers doing a bunch of wild ass shit. Just a bunch of young hood kids just not giving a fuck. It just was what it was. This wasn't my best year academically either. Like, I didn't do too well academically. My grades probably wasn't too crazy, but I didn't do too well sophomore year. Probably a lot of like C's and D's and shit. Enough to pass, but my mom damn sure wasn't too happy about that. College was right around the corner. I'm a sophomore, about to head into my junior year. Shit was going downhill. So yeah, that was pretty much sophomore year. Stay tuned for junior year. Holla. These are my high school stories.